Actually, Vanessa said she's buying drinks.
What am I doing?
No, nothing. Yeah, you're buying drinks. Although I can. They're outside just serving wine today? Cool. Does he know to call that number? Because when I talked to him earlier, he said, call me, tell me, text me what we're doing. Can you text him directly? Is that possible? Okay. He is driving, but he said that it's fine. He told me to text him to tell him what's going on. He has Siri. Siri reads them. We're not saying you should read your text messages while driving. We don't. Exactly. No, he had a client meeting. He's with his boss. He works for
Everybody has a boss.
It's a good point. Who's the boss of Donald Trump? I want to know, because he says some really funky things. Who's going to slap him around a little bit? My wife is the boss, that's for sure. Yeah, no, without a doubt. I know I have a boss. I wasn't the one that said, yeah.
I'm okay with
So
that.
you're suggesting his boss is similar.
No, I can assure you my husband.
Okay, got it. Got it. Yeah.
He doesn't even think that he's the boss because he knows better.
When I leave here, I want as little responsibility as possible. Allison's in charge of everything. She's got it all. Oh, she's great.
Okay, it is 6:30. We're going to. Did you text him? Okay, fine. You want to start it? Okay, good. Okay, welcome to the special meeting of Celebration Residential Owners Association, and we're here to talk about the Celebration Education Task Force. So I'm going to give you actually a little bit of background, and then we'll start the meeting and go through our agenda. But last week we met with, this is I think our third meeting this week. This is a record for CROA. Enjoy it, because it's never going to happen again. Yeah, it's never going to happen again. Yeah, let's hope not. So we appreciate you all being here. I think we know that there's a challenging issue with our school, and we want to help solve and be a part of how we deal with that. So in our last meeting when we met, we did talk about we're going to create a task force, and we did say that we're going to do it via email and send emails back and forth and do that stuff if we had a consensus with 100% of votes from everybody, because we're allowed to do that, and we want to make sure we want to do it in the open. And we decided we couldn't do that, and we're going to come and talk to you guys, do this on TV, make sure we talk to the residents and make sure everybody understands where we are. So at the end of the day, we weren't able to come to a consensus, but it actually worked very well because we ended up getting lots of emails from residents, and every one of us really got a chance to meet, personally hear about some new individuals in town that are passionate about the school system and also want to help. So first, I'd like to thank you personally and the Homeowner Association for those of you that are here and those of you that put your name out for helping us with this task force. Ultimately, many people will be left off the task force, but it doesn't mean that you're left off the part of the decision-making process or being a resident, because those meetings will all be opened, and I know how we do task force here. We tend to get a lot of homeowner input, so I encourage you that I would assume that you'll probably just be involved in both ends, even if you're not on the task force. So thank you very much for putting your name out. So we're going to start with owner's comment period and give you a chance to speak. If anybody has any words they want to say, you're not required to. We don't have to have any, but certainly if you do, please come up to the microphone, state your name and your address, please. Anyone? Everybody's hungry.
Wow, there's
Yeah,
a first time
there is
for
Food Truck Friday. You want to go ahead? No? Okay.
Wow.
There is, Steve just said there is alcohol for the first time at Food Truck Friday, so if we make it quick, Jack's buying.
It's beer. It's beer.
It is on the record.
No wine or drinking, just beer.
Okay, beer and wine. All right, so Steve, can we verify the meeting is properly noticed?
It was.
Okay, awesome. We verify we do have a quorum. We have 5 members sitting here, so we do have a quorum. Thank you, so we're going to stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right, we have an agenda in front of us, so if I can get the board to make a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Okay, and a second, so we have Vanessa and Jack as a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. We adopt the agenda.
There's somebody on here, I just heard a aye.
Oh, look at that. We have Eric here too, is that correct?
That's me.
All right, hey Eric, sorry. We figured you'd pop in, so please do the pledge in your car while you're driving. Okay. All right, so first action item is really to administrative resolution to the task force. And if we could, actually I should have asked to move that one and switch it back forward as appoint the members. But does anybody have any comment on the action item number 1 is the resolution itself? It's front and back, so it's saving paper, by the way, so.
Paragraph B.
It's the same
Item 2.
content as I emailed you before, just the name changed.
Okay,
Paragraph B, item 2. I don't think that's a requirement, it's part of our.
okay.
that
So
again. What was that?
what he said was, and those for at home, there's, on the, you might have the agenda if you flip it over, the committee composition talks about no less than 5 members and no more than 7.
They don't have the resolution right now.
My fault. So let me read you this then, real quickly.
For transparency.
Yeah, right. It says committee composition, number 1, it says no less than 5 members, but no more than 7, basically. Number 2, celebration community district liaison. Number 3, celebration company liaison. Number 4, Osceola County School Board liaison. Number 5, celebration K through 8 school liaison. Number
6 and 7.
6 and, thank you very much. We are correcting 6 and 7. No more than 3 board liaisons, non-voting, because you can have a board member as part of the task force. Not necessarily that's what we're going to do, but you can have a board member. And then number 7 is staff liaison, non-voting, the executive director of the association or community manager, somebody there for staff. So that's where the composition is, and I think what Jack said is he wanted to look at looking at the makeup of this task force, because the task force doesn't need to have the Celebration Community Development District as a task force member, and I think that's a great question. And maybe some others aren't part of the task force, and I think the discussion that we've had going forward, we've had some email discussion, is maybe we have the task force is 5 to 7 members, and the other entities, we invite the Celebration Company to bring somebody to the meeting, we invite the CDD to have somebody at the meeting, we invite the school to have somebody at the meeting, but they're not members of the task force, but I think that, is that kind
They're
of,
non-voting, right?
yeah,
Would that be the same as the school district as well? Or are you
yeah,
Is non-voting.
non-voting?
yes,
The only people who can vote are residents in good standing.
yep, and that's actually through our charter, so we've, over this time, gone through the charter and kind of figured out how we can actually have a task force, and that's what we found out. So what we will be doing, I assume, is, and make sure we're all in agreement, is we're going to be, whoever the chairperson is, going to be sending out meeting notices to all these entities and ask them to participate, because we want them, we don't want it to be just homeowners sitting there and having no discussion with these other parties. So ask them to send a liaison. Is that what we all feel like, okay? Are you okay with that, Eric?
Yep.
Okay.
So remove them off of here and just have, for the committee composition, just number 1 and number 7.
The 1, 3,
Board.
1, 3 through 7.
So do you want
You're
the...
just taking the CDD off?
Yeah, we're just removing CDD as part of the,
And the other ones would be non-voting too, then?
yeah.
Okay, so they don't, so you're saying not actually make them a board, just ask them to just come bring somebody?
They're welcome to come.
Okay,
So take off 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and just invite them to the meetings.
I think he's just saying take off 2.
yeah, he's just saying,
saying two.
he's just saying the Celebration Community Development District.
Delete
They don't have a
3, 4,
stake in it,
5,
yeah.
6, and 7.
They're the ones that probably don't have a stake unless there's some
And
sort
then
of,
just make these
Bond or
non-voting.
something.
yep, exactly.
Okay.
All right, so we haven't had a motion for this, but in fact, since it's new for you guys and this opportunity, what I'll ask is, before we vote on something, I'll ask you if you do want to make a homeowner comment specifically about something we're voting on. So if anybody wants to make a homeowner comment, actually, let me ask.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Because they do not have a copy of the
Yep.
actual
Should we read the
resolution, can we read that?
I'm sure you want to read it?
I
Okay,
can do that.
feel free.
Really should be
Do they have the
objective.
front page?
Do they have the front page?
They
Yeah,
have
they
the
should be
agenda,
agenda.
yeah.
They don't have the, they don't have
I
it.
have this, okay.
Go ahead.
So the objectives, to work with the Celebration Company and Osceola County School Board to identify a mutually beneficial recommendation for the expansion of student stations to accommodate future growth in Celebration, to organize and host a town hall meeting with the residents of Celebration, the Celebration Company, and Osceola County School Board, Work with the management to provide notices to the community for upcoming events related to the expansion of the Celebration K-8 school, including but not limited to town hall meetings, Osceola County School Board meetings, Celebration Resident Owner Association meetings, and Celebration Community Development District meetings.
So you remove the celebration district?
I included that just in case the CDD has another presentation or something that happens at a
We
CDD meeting.
can still
that
attend
needs
those
to be-
meetings.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's still valid to be in there.
Every now and then, things like, just like the parking garage went before them, and so did the, or was going to, and then so did the potential for a new building on the K-8 school. So I don't think we want to be short-sighted on it.
Okay, I withdraw my, I withdraw it then.
Okay, so he's withdrawing that. Okay, so you're okay with CDD being on there? Okay. Well, what the CDD will probably do is we'll ask them to send somebody. It could be a different person each time. It could, whatever it is. We're not going to appoint a member. We'll just, I think the only thing that I had a comment about this was it wasn't reporting back to the celebration, to the CROA board, and it's a CROA board task force, so, because it's going to be brought up, so I didn't know if we had to say that.
That is going to be added. Tom Slayton had a change on the whereas
Okay.
part, and that will be added into it. It's just one of the legal pieces of
Okay.
that. It doesn't change the objectives.
Tom Slayton's our attorney, by the way, for those of you who don't know.
Okay, so we're back to the 7 again? Can you
Yes, we are.
slowly go over those 7?
I will. I'll do that. So, and the question was, we're back to the 7 because they can't hear you on TV because there's probably just hundreds of people listening.
There's one.
Okay, there's one. So committee composition is no less than 5, but no more than 7 CROA members in good standing appointed by the CROA board. Number 2, Celebration Community District Development District Liaison. Number 3, the Celebration Company Liaison. Number 4, Osceola County School Board Liaison. Number 5, Celebration K-8 School Liaison. Number 6, no more than 3 board liaisons non-voting. Again, that's because the rules, 3 of the members could be CROA board members, so that's just saying that you can't have any more than 3. Number 7, staff liaison, non-voting, and that would be executive director, community manager, or communications director. So staff is going to be there.
Lee, I'll add non-voting to all the other.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
I'll add that to it.
Yep.
Can we start commenting?
Yes, sure.
I just have a comment that the staff liaisons, 3 seem kind of heavy. Is that or, I mean, are all 3 of them going to be there?
I don't know that we'll need all 3 there at the same time.
Can we
I do
put
want.
director, manager, or director so that you don't feel like the 3 are...
It will
They're
be.
not voting either,
Right.
so.
It'll be either myself or Susan as community manager, and then I'd like for JR to be
Okay,
there.
okay.
Okay. All right, so can I have a motion to, and I think there's going to be some changes, of course, based on the attorney, so make a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt this bid with foregoing changes made by the attorney.
Okay, great. Do I have a second? Okay, and we have a second. Now, this might be the opportunity for, before we vote, we'll ask any more discussions for us?
Jack?
Yeah, it was Jack. Any discussions amongst the board here? Eric, any discussion before we ask residents? Nope. Okay. Any resident would like to comment on this specific action item before we vote on it? Go ahead. If you can come up to the microphone.
Yes.
You don't have to. I'll repeat what you say. Cookie Kelly, okay. Go ahead.
My question was, earlier I heard a vague reference to resident voting. Was that, I thought from you. Lee,
That was from me. Back in 2011, we passed a resolution as to the composition of task forces and committees, and it's restricted to Celebration residents in good standing.
Okay,
Task force members cannot include board members,
right,
okay, or staff
okay.
Voting.
For voting.
for voting.
For voting, and will there be a resident vote on this?
You mean a general vote?
Yeah,
No.
We won't have
I
time.
mean, good.
No. I think what our objective is to put together a group of residents that we think is a good mix of residents that will report back to the CROA board so we can all kind of come together. We'll try to have a town hall meeting. We're going to try to work with the Celebration Company and all entities and try to come up with a plan that we're a part of,
Right.
which we feel like maybe that wasn't the case originally.
Well, I only bring this up
Right.
because as has happened in the past, and can easily happen again, unsold developed lots are hers.
Yeah, we're not, right, so this is not, the vote, we'll have a vote tonight for the task force, and then the task force will report back to the CROA board at some point, and the CROA board will adopt, hopefully, what the task force says, and we'll kind of move forward. Okay?
All right, thank you.
Okay, and go ahead.
Point of clarification, you say resident. Are you talking property owner or are you talking resident?
I'm talking...
Member in good standing.
A member in good standing. We haven't appointed the board yet. We haven't appointed the task force yet.
I believe everybody that we have, that everybody...
Member in good standing, meaning someone who owns property?
Yeah, a CROA member.
Yes.
I'm just making that clarification.
Well,
And actually, the only people that actually put their name in the hat were already property owners.
I will preface this by saying I'm not an attorney and I'm not practicing law, but I will read the way it is written here. Membership on the committee task force is restricted to members and permanent residents in good standing with CJC CROA Canoa. Good standing is defined as not in arrears on assessments or other fees, in compliance with all recorded restrictions, rules, and regulations, and not involved in litigation with the association.
To your point, PJ, it's in the charter that a renter, with their permission and written permission of an owner, can cast a vote for it. Okay? But we've got to have...
For me, I just...
and the board could allow that.
We've got to have that in writing.
So I didn't want to jump ahead and say who's in. Go ahead. Sorry, somebody.
You said 5 to 7 residents, correct?
I said, let me be clear, 5 to 7 CROA members.
5 to 7 CROA members. In addition, you added this, added that, added the other. So could you just summarize exactly the way you see this task force and who's voting for what, when, and where? Because I'm totally confused.
So there would be probably, reading the tea leaves, 5 members, because the resolution says 5 to 7, but we'll probably have 5 members of this task force, and then have liaisons that are from Osceola County.
What is the liaison?
Well, they're non-voting. I mean, they're basically...
Advisors?
Are the members of the task force the only voting?
They're non-voting.
Yes, we're a homeowners. We are a homeowners association, and the only thing that we can do is have our members are the only ones that can vote. So we're asking Osceola County to participate.
I'm sorry, Debbie, who's voting? That's the part of it.
Our task force members.
You didn't mean CROA board members.
No.
No,
Strictly
none of
that
us.
members of the task force will be voting.
CROA
in order
members,
to-
not board or director
Okay,
people.
let me see if I can rein this back in
Roll
here.
out.
So the next thing on the agenda is to appoint the members. This is now a resolution just to some housekeeping.
That's crazy. I still don't understand it.
I'm gonna ask him to come up because I can't hear you. Larry, can you come up because I can't hear you? I apologize, and I want to be able to hear everybody. But no, you got to come to the. I'm sorry, I have a hearing thing. Sorry. I'm sorry. No, I just can't hear.
What, your name and address?
We're trying to answer, but I
Larry
can't.
Richardson, 621 Teal Avenue.
Thank you.
Okay, there's 5 to 7 members. Forget CROA, okay? Who votes? Who has the vote in that task force?
Just the CROA members.
The members that are appointed.
Just those 5 to 7?
Correct.
Yes.
The
Okay,
rest are
and-
like liaisons and advisors.
Okay, then the other ones are liaison and advisors that do not have a vote,
Correct.
just to bring some additional substance to the party. Is that-
Ultimately, we, as homeowners, we can decide whatever we want to, but if we don't have the buy-in from those that are actually
No,
signing the
I totally-
contract. So that's why we have the
I
liaisons.
totally understand
Okay.
that. That's not my point.
Okay.
Can I get just an example? For example, I put Sophia Graves on there because she is the student body representative. She's 18 years old for all of Celebration High School.
Okay.
She's a liaison, a non-voting, but she can answer some questions.
My
John
next-
Bushy, he's been at the school. People that can help provide
My next
information.
question is, you said something about a bunch of people's name is already in the hat for this task force?
People have been already submitting their names via, however, because we had asked for
Then
it.
if this was so widely spread, how come I personally never got anything, even on this meeting? I had to ask somebody about the meeting. So I'm just curious how this got to be so out there and so in public, and I never got anything.
Can't answer that.
Probably more from the forums and stuff, but I mean, I'm sure if you want to add a name, I don't know if we're adding names.
That's
tonight.
not my point.
No.
My point is,
Posted on the front porch.
Steve, could you,
not everybody goes on the front porch.
Steve, could you please clarify where exactly this was posted?
Sure. The meeting on Tuesday night was the CROA, regular CROA board meeting. At that point in time, the direction was to look at, for the board members, to identify committee members for this task force. So they worked to identify task force members, and then on Wednesday night, about 6 o'clock, we posted to have this meeting, because as Lee said before, to do it on by email to vote for the committee members, they would have had to do
Post it on the
100%.
front page.
So post it
Front
on the
porch.
front porch of the website, and it's under breaking news. And then we also have within the forums that was posted.
It was also on.
And then we put it on the marquee.
And I know there were several
And
other
so-
social
I
media.
guess the assumption is that we're all reading the front.
No,
porch all the
Larry,
time.
Larry, in defense, we
I'm just
also
curious.
reached out to people in the community that had said, oh my gosh, the school issue, I mean, it's something that had kind
I
of
haven't
came
talked to
apart very
anybody yet that
quickly.
doesn't know about
Yeah.
this.
Thanks, yeah. And I think sometimes we could be,
Anyway,
we
that's-
could probably, we can
Yeah.
communicate better sometimes.
Yeah.
We did have about 100 and something people here on Monday. Okay, so,
Okay, so.
any further homeowner comment on this action item, action item number 1? No, okay. We had a motion and we had a second.
Yes.
Okay, I'm calling the motion to order, okay? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right. Okay, the next one is appoint members and the chair to Celebration Education Task Force. So first of all, we'll talk about the chair. Do you have a motion to appoint a chair?
Yeah, I would like to make a motion to make Vanessa the non-voting chair and the representative of the CROA board for the task force.
Okay, I heard Vanessa. Do I have a second? Okay. Discussion of the board?
Yes, I would like to put another name up, or do we have to vote on each one individual?
There's been a motion and a second, so you could mention this in the discussion that you're going to bring the name up, and then we could vote this person down.
So
and we could
also
vote
has to
again.
table?
You can, but I don't think it's going to work, but yeah.
But it's not going to work. So
Yeah.
you guys already decided this.
No, I think it's going to be, I mean, but I think welcome, I mean, if you have another person other than Vanessa, I mean,
I do.
we'd love, yeah, go ahead.
I do.
Let's- yeah.
Tom Sonneborn.
Okay. Definitely, okay. Anybody else?
And there will be discussion.
Okay. All right, so any further board discussion, I should say?
Yes.
Yes, you have more? Go ahead.
That's
It's
me.
yours. I'm
I
not
just
stopping you.
feel as a point of ethics that it's not right to have anyone on any CROA board member be chair or a voting member of the task force. That is why we have a task force. We are asking and reaching out to the community and trying to put together the best people we feel we have to direct this. And as we've said in our previous meeting, we can all be there. We're welcome to give input. But I've never, in my experience on a board, and maybe someone else can speak to this, seen a board person be the chair of a task force.
I think Eric made it home. It's possible Eric made it. Okay, yeah, go ahead. You have the floor.
So I am recommending Tom Sonneborn to be the chair of the task force.
Okay, awesome. Yes, do you have any comment? Anybody? No? I think certainly, I'll make a comment. Certainly, Tom is well qualified and knows this business and knows CROA business more than anybody else, so nothing against Tom. But I'm voting for Vanessa because she, I think, will get started, and I don't think there's any ethical thing. We have very few task forces, so I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think Tom would find it
it's a very big deal.
Yeah, I don't think it's, anyway. Eric, any comments before we ask homeowners for comments before we vote on this?
No, thanks, I'm good.
Okay, so, and this is a special meeting, which is one of the reasons why I'm kind of doing it in sections like this, so giving the opportunity for residents. So before we vote on this chairperson, if there's any comments, please come on up for any homeowners.
Please, yes.
When you first said it, you said it's a non-voting chair?
It is, that's correct. Right, it would be a non-voting chair.
Lee, I'm running multiple jobs here. Who seconded the motion? It was Dave?
It was Dave that
Thank you.
seconded it. It was Diana that made the motion. No, you don't. Not if you. We don't do.
I don't know Tom that well, so just a little background. You know,
Tom's
bring it to the table kind of thing.
extremely well qualified.
Yeah, he's extremely well qualified.
Probably more qualified than 99% of the
Please, come on up,
Just-
yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
We're not done.
Oh, Cookie, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
Well, again, hi, Michelle.
Come on up, yeah.
So, is this okay?
Yeah, sure.
One, I haven't even been nominated to this yet, so this is a little odd, but I did get a call from 3 or 4 of the board members during the week after the session on Monday night, and I expressed to all of them something I'd like to say out loud right now is, first, I appreciate those calls and the vote of confidence, but we've put together committees and task forces before. And sometimes those committees create a false impression of pacifying the community because now you have a task force. And I'd ask that you not nominate me or don't put me on this committee, don't even form this committee if that's the intent. If the board is taking this seriously and you will support this task force, then I'd be happy to serve. Otherwise, I'm not interested, and I don't think we should do it. The other thing I'd ask, just because I've got the microphone, is that before this task force gets to work, before we expend any emotional energy or time or effort, that we have an honest-to-goodness sit-down face-to-face with the Celebration Company representatives before we develop a bunch of ideas and then they tell us they won't consider them. So as far as my qualifications, I'm no more qualified than any resident. I care. I've lived here a long time. I put 3 kids through this school. I think the proposal that was put in front of us was an insult to the community. Probably our best defense is that it's just unsafe. We can't do this. I was part of the original Celebration Company and helped plan the town. And somebody said the other night that this was not a good location for a school. I respectfully disagree. This was an excellent place for a school at the size that it is. If you double the size of it, it's no longer a good place for the school. So
you were at one point with the Celebration Company?
I was. It seems like a lifetime ago. And it annoys me to no end that the people who are now with the Celebration Company representing them are part of my legacy and the legacy of some very good friends of mine. At one time, that was the finest real estate development company in the country. And now that they're turning their backs on their customers, our residents, our friends and neighbors, again, I find insulting. And one more disclaimer. One of the people who called me asked if I had any preconceived notions about a solution. I have some ideas, but I also have some preconceived notions that we've been sold down the river by our school board, by the Celebration Company, and maybe by our own staff. So again, disclosure, that's what I'm bringing to the table. I will be objective, I'll be helpful, I will be energetic, and I will drive for a solution, but I'm not completely objective on this, so know that up front.
Can I ask you a quick question, though? And you and I have spoken, so, but the question I have is, will you serve on the committee as a task force member?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'd rather have a vote anyway.
Right, okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Cookie, come on up.
Hi, Cookie Kelly, 691 Front Street. I am standing. Okay, I'll tell you, having had my little moment in the sun with my petition, and what I have learned is that this is more complicated than the Gambino family, and that there are many, many allegiances. They're not intentional allegiances, they just happen. And the things that I have heard this last week from so many sides have led me to feel so strongly that no one on CROA should be the chairperson. I don't care who they are. And it's not because they are openly or thoughtfully going to have their own prejudices. It's because prejudices occur because you've had meetings because you've had conversations, because people insinuate themselves in your lives, and you have a lot of separate meetings. I think we want to remove all of that. All of this, why don't you come over and we'll talk separately stuff, which has been going on. The things I have learned have curled my hair. Not completely, but it's there under the hat. And anyway, so I just want to speak out strongly that the chairperson, is the leader, is the very leader of this, is the one that directs the path. And that is all the more, voting or not, that should not be the role. And believe me, this is nothing against anyone on this board. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
You and I dress the same today, but I'll just let you know.
Wow, same tailors.
Oh my goodness. No. I have buttons.
Okay.
There you go. Hi, Mike Jackson, 413 Sycamore Street. First, a caution, I guess, relative to what's happening right now, because if we become divisive within our own group, we will lose this thing. And I've been through enough of this stuff across the country in my career and in different situations, and I've seen the fragments start already. So I want to really caution us, and this ties into my comment here. I think we need to avoid that divisiveness within our group, because this is going to be a tough enough project in itself. So my suggestion would be that we do not select a chairperson here tonight. CROA does not select a chairperson. You form the committee. The dynamics of the organization of that committee, those people on the committee among themselves select their chairperson. And that allows for a much more productive, high-performing team, a much better selection process, because you're doing it in an abstract process. You don't even know who the other members are, what the skill sets are, what's needed, what the dynamics are going to be in terms of communication, leadership, interaction, or any of those things. So I think I would recommend you select the people and then let them decide among themselves. I think that would be a much better process.
Okay. Any further comment?
I have one. I just think, I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. You, sorry, PJ.
PJ Cartwright, 1000 Via Capri Lane. I've served on national boards. I've served on committees here at CROA. Robert's Rules of Order generally suggest that as the presiding officer of any entity, if you have an opinion, you relinquish the gavel. So I commend Tom for being very forthright that he comes to the table, if asked to serve, with the predisposition. And I think that Mike's suggestion that CROA board select a task force and let them among themselves select their chairman is a wise one.
I made the motion to make Vanessa the chairperson. I think you both make very good points that the caliber of people that that we hope to have on this committee are probably very strong enough to pick up their own chairperson. So I'm going to withdraw my motion.
Okay, so the person who made the motion withdrew the motion, so there is no motion on the table.
I have a motion. There's no motion on the table. Can I make a motion?
Hold on, let me just finish. Hold on one quick second. Sorry.
Okay.
So that leaves us without a motion for the chairperson. So go ahead.
I make a motion that we select the task force and they choose their own chairperson. I know that's slightly different there, but I would like to make that motion, that we choose a task force and allow them to choose their leadership.
Second. Yeah, we do. So I'll second.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Back to comments for the board. Do we have any comments? Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, so the only thing that I would say that I agree with what's being said with respect to selecting as a chairperson. I think that's fine. However, I would request of the committee that chairperson be selected during that first initial meeting, mostly because of the deadline and the timelines that we're under right now.
Absolutely. I will amend the motion to say the chairperson selected from the task force at the first initial meeting of the task force.
Tonight.
Well, we have to post the task.
Well, yeah. I think one of the, so in terms of board discussion, I think one of the issues is that these are new members and they have to actually figure out days, and we have to figure out a timeline. So we're going to have to probably, before we leave here, maybe add a discussion item to discuss the first meeting that we can set up for the task force, because the thought was somebody here was going to do that very quickly and just get it done. But now we're probably, it'll set us back a little bit. But we don't want to be set back. We want to move forward.
They look like a speedy group to me.
We'll have to do that very quickly.
And we need 48 hours to post.
Sure. I maybe with Thanksgiving it might be.
I'm confident they can provide email contacts and get to work right away.
So we have a motion. We had a second. Did you get who?
Is it Vanessa?
I seconded.
Yep. Okay. And do we have any other further board discussion? Okay. And now I'm opening it up to the homeowners during our special meeting before we take a vote. The motion was to have the the task force select their own chair. Seems pretty reasonable. And are there any further comments about this before we vote on this? Okay. All right, so I'll call the question to order. Do I have all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay? Okay, motion carries. All right, so now let's get to the point of the task force itself and how many members. So we were going to go through task force names and that kind of stuff, but I'd like to table that just for a quick second and talk about how many members are going to be. When we talked about it before, we were talking between 5 and 7. We also were thinking it could have been another person, could have been 6, you know what I mean? So do we want to go with 5 or 7? I'll open that up for discussion for you guys. How will you want to do it?
Well, I would suggest, since we have one less person, because Vanessa was possibly going to chair, that I would like to go with 7.
Okay. Do I have a motion, formal motion, to make select the amount of task force members? Anybody? An odd number is probably a good number. Better than an even number.
My only problem is that we are running up against the Christmas holidays and stuff like that. Getting 5 people, much less 7 people together at any one time is just going to be a nightmare.
So you're making a motion for 5 then?
I want to get this thing moving.
I would motion for 7 members, and they're allowed to talk by email and phone, right? I mean, is there anything to prohibit them from talking to email? I mean, you board guys that do this out there, do you talk by email and phone?
Let's keep this between us for right now, okay? Let's keep some, okay, so the motion
Can they
was,
talk by email and phone?
well, give it a quick second. Let's make a second and then we'll discuss that. So the motion was to make 7 members of the task force. So let's state that. It was by Debbie.
Motion?
There's 7 members of the task force. Do we have a second for 7 members of the task force?
Well, I'll second it, but I want to discuss.
We can do that, sure.
Okay.
So Vanessa's seconding the motion.
What are your thoughts about doing 5 and then having 2 alternates? That way, if we have somebody that drops out, we'd at least have some backups.
Well, I was thinking 7 because when we had our last discussion, we were talking about 7, and
that's what we had been talking about.
Yeah, we were talking about 7. We've got 17 exceptional people right here. I'm having a hard time narrowing it down to 7. I would like to have 7. I mean, when you have 7, you still have a majority if there's some people that don't show up that can carry the weight of the meeting. And if there's 2 people out for holidays or for visits or whatever, you still have 5 people there, which would be a majority.
Dave,
even
your
4's a
thoughts?
majority.
I go with 5.
Okay. Jack?
I'm fine with 7. Let's just vote and get it going.
And further, Vanessa? Deb? No? Diana, no problem? Okay. All right, so in the interest of how we're doing these things tonight, if you'd like to make a comment, we're about to vote. The motion on the table is for 7 members.
Leah Carius, 1049 Nash Drive. I'm a little concerned because it sounds like y'all have already picked your people and this is just a formality. And as someone who was involved in this and was at all the meetings earlier, I would have liked to have been considered, but I didn't realize we were collecting names and moving forward. And this is somebody who has absolutely no idea what names y'all were discussed or going forward. So that was just,
I can tell you personally, I have. I've gone through the list. We've emailed. We've talked about it. We've gotten 17, 20 emails. I personally, I'll be quite honest with you, gone through it. And I, by the way, thought of you also. So maybe you didn't send an email, but I thought of you and discussed you. So as a group, we've brought lots of names from those who didn't. We said, people sent us emails, and maybe some people didn't. Who else is, our goal last Monday was to get to this point without actually having this special meeting, to get the task force going and to get going, because time is wasting. So there's going to be a lot of people we're going to leave out. No doubt. If there's only 5 members or 7 members, there's how many people that we know sent emails, let alone how many people we discussed otherwise. How many were on here?
We had
22.
And I would,
so I'll tell you personally.
Okay.
So I apologize. I've already gone through and we discussed a lot of people. So
I would say that with the people that are aware and involved in this issue, they know the importance, they know the timeline. I don't think there's a difference between 5 and 7. I think people that are going to volunteer to be on this task force will be just as ready to get it started as you guys are.
Well, in our fairness, this came up, I believe, Tuesday night at our meeting, and I think it was agenda item number 18, and I think I got home after dinner from the meeting around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So we did have Wednesday and Thursday, it's all a blur. But one reason we did say anyone could come, it would be open to everybody to come and listen, is because we were just so rushed. And I think we just are doing the best we can. And quite frankly, this could be decided before we even get people together as quickly as this is moving between the school board and Disney. But our hopes is that these wonderful group of people and everyone that can come to the meeting can put something together to help.
Oh, I will, but nothing.
It's all very.
Let's get the 7. Sorry.
It's stressful, but I think we're doing the best we can.
Leonard.
Yeah.
Just a very quick comment. And since you are on a very short timeline, having 7 leaves you with 3 people able to miss a meeting. Instead of having 5, you're going to have 2, then you're without a quorum. Since you have the holidays coming, I would recommend going with 7. That way you get some decent representation at the meeting each time.
Thank you, Leonard. Sounds like we have something that we can't all argue about here, so good. Eric, any final notes before the board votes on this?
I will call the question.
Thank you so much. Do we have a second? Sorry, we already did. So we're calling questions. So, yep, that's right. So we have the motion on the table is for 7 members of the board. 7 members of the task force. The task force is called Celebration Education Task Force. So I'll ask for all those that agree, signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. All right. The last thing is to actually appoint members of this chair, and I'll like to make the motion myself, because like I said before, I went through this, and what I don't want to do is I don't want to go through and talk about 23 great individuals, residents, and talk about the merits and non-merits, because I feel horrible that we're only asking 7, because there's 22 people on this list, and I know we talked, even people that didn't send in, we said, how come this person didn't send in? We talked about a lot of people. So I'm going to make a motion to throw out names and start the process, because I think that was the ones that we talked about back and forth, and I'm going to make a motion to approve Tom Sonneborg, Dan Haskett.
Whoa. I want to all have our individual votes.
Okay, I'm making a motion. And
he's got to continue.
Whoa. Hold it.
He's allowed to make a motion.
I'm making a motion right now, and if I get a second, then we'll discuss it. Okay, so I'm making a motion to approve Tom Sonneborg, Dan Haskett, Rebecca Newman, Brian Coakley, Tom Tuzin, Pat Schroeder, and Jeff McNeil to the task force.
Can you repeat that again?
Yeah,
Yes.
We're pretty fast there.
Sorry. Tom Sonneborg, Dan Haskett, Rebecca Newman, Brian Coakley, Tom Tuzin, Pat Schroeder, Jeff McNeil. These are names that we're all familiar with because we passed them around. So I make a motion for those names.
I have number 3, Jeff McNeil. I have number 5, Tom Sonneborg. I have number 8, Dan Haskett.
Hold on.
Can we just, I'm sorry, you
Number 9, Rebecca Newman, and I have number 10, Pat Schroeder.
Missing Brian Coker.
Brian Coker, number 11, and then
Tom
one more.
Susan.
Tom
Yeah.
Susan, number 7.
I don't, this was Tom, yeah, so these are all names that are on the list. I don't know, yeah, right? They were all names that were on our
I'd
list.
like to get a glass of water,
Right.
just real quick, a drink, please.
Can I,
Here, I'll get you one, David.
Okay, so I made a motion. Is there a second for the motion? Second, okay. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I was told before this meeting, or I would not be at this meeting, I would have done something differently, that we would all have a vote, an equal vote for the members that we wanted to vote for, and this would not be grandstand or staged, and that everyone would have an equal opportunity. I feel I am representing people in our community, and I was voted to represent people in our community. I will not have a pre-discussed grandstand vote with a second to select people that have come forward to represent our community.
Wasn't that what we discussed in our last meeting, that we were going to pick people and come with a consensus and do exactly what
We
we're
have
doing?
boxes so we can all make a check, and we talked about who would vote for them, and PJ offered to help count the ballots.
No,
and I said I did not.
you asked people to do that. We didn't agree to that. You asked people to do that. Now, if the board wants to do that, granted, we'll do that. I just didn't want to get to
So the
that.
board wants to pre-select people?
all right, can I just say?
Sure.
I don't have a problem voting about here. Steve, you've already got Lee's entries, okay?
I do.
If you'd like to tally other votes, I'm willing to give my votes right now.
There's much point, but I would like them
Well,
tallied.
if you guys are going to do that, I mean, you can write them on the sheet and they can check out. I mean,
I have a problem with that.
Well,
it's up to you as the board to how you want to do it.
hold on a quick second. So let's make sure we do this correctly, which I don't have a problem. So would you rather do this? Because what I'll do is I'll withdraw my motion, and we'll go and do that.
I would rather do that.
So we have all these names here.
Yes.
So we can
each vote for
click on
7
the
people.
names and turn. So is that what we'd rather do?
We can each vote for 7 people.
You're fine with that?
Steve and PJ are
Diana?
now just going to add.
Okay, you're fine with that? Okay, so I will withdraw my motion and do that. Okay, so
make a motion with
I'll
that?
make another motion. I'll make a motion to do it, without a doubt. You second it for me, please, so at least we're on the same page. So I'll make a motion we have a list of names, and those that didn't send in aren't on the list, so I apologize. We have a list of names here, 1 through 22. You guys don't have it, so I apologize for you. And we will make a check mark.
We also get to vote for 3 consultants.
3 consultants. No, what do you mean?
They're non-voting, so we have to secretly approve the 3 consultants.
Oh, so let me make a motion, we'll take that later, okay?
Hold on, yeah, because.
Right, my motion, so I'm gonna, let's
The top
be,
17.
Eric, since you're on the phone, are you still listening?
Which list are we working on?
That is an excellent question, where this list came from,
We have a
so.
list of 22 people.
I know, hold on, just a quick
Sorry.
second. So where did this list come from, Steve?
This is a list of people that had sent us emails and gave us a little bit of background, and
Steve's email that he sent this afternoon?
then I forwarded it to you.
Yes, yeah, so are you able to pull it up, Eric? Because I could shoot a picture of it and send it to you if you want, maybe, JPEG it?
Yeah, let's just do that, so that we're crystal clear.
All right, give me one quick second, everybody.
And then Eric, do you want to just text into Steve or email Steve what your votes were?
Or, yeah, if you don't have a problem.
Just email this.
Well, we never said this is silent, but I mean, that's another actually thing that you have to do to.
Can you guys take nominations from the floor too?
Give me a second, let's work that out first. Give me a quick second. So let me just send this to Eric though first.
Thanks, Lee.
And we're trying to get this right, which is one of the reasons why we're going through this. This is a special meeting again. We only gave 48 hours notice. We want to make sure we do this correctly. I'm sending you large, 1.9 megs. Okay?
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. So the motion was to look at this list, and the question we did have on the floor is, so I made the motion. Are you okay with taking some names? Or you second it? You taking some names from the floor if people want to come up and say something that are not on this list?
They can say whatever they want. What my motion, or what my thought was, we would each vote for 7 people.
Right,
and each vote
but they're
for
only on this, they're on this list, so what they're saying is there might be some people here.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
So call for the nomination. Determine your votes, I don't think that would do.
we're skipping the consultants for now, so that's, not really sure what the consultants are. So, so Eric, if you take away the list, so we're going to vote on the list here. This is a great opportunity, like you said, for making any mention of anybody else who'd like to throw in the hat. So if you'd like to come up and, or anybody else like to throw another name in, that would be great. This is the time to do it. This is your time.
Debbie Wisniewski, 116 Clayton Avenue. I would like to nominate Leah Carius.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so for our...
Namely?
It was Leah Carius. So for us, what we're going to do is, since we have a bunch of names here, I'm going to skip consultants, so let's just add 18 as Leah Carius for right now.
And we can come back to the consultant.
And we'll talk about that.
Can we just do
Come up there in a quick second.
23 to not confuse things? Or?
No. I've already confused it enough, so let's just do it in the least way. At least I know what I'm doing. So we'll go back to it in a minute. So Leah Carius is number 18 on our list. Thank you.
Do you have Mike Jackson on this list?
We do.
We do have Mike Jackson. That is correct. We're wearing the same shirt, so I think it has to be. Anybody else before we call?
Carl, which one? Okay.
Come on up.
What's that his name? Carl Fiore.
First and last name, where you live? Sorry,
Sure.
I knew the other.
It's okay. Carl Fiore, 1202 Celebration Avenue, Fiore.
Thank you.
No problem. And I'd like to nominate myself.
Okay.
Can you share with everybody?
Sure.
Because everybody.
Yes, I know. We know the others.
No, that's fine.
Carl Fiore.
Bios that already.
Sure.
were
Yes.
listed in it.
Unfortunately, like a few others, I missed that part from all the meetings we've been to, so otherwise I would have done that before. It's pretty simple. I've been a resident since 2006. I have children that go to the school right now, 3rd grade and kindergarten. I'm on the current SAC. As a way of my professional qualifications here, unlike everyone, I've not been on any boards. I'm simple. It's very simple. I'm a concerned parent. And I'm sure a lot of the other fine folks you have here, and I do know we have a town full of exceptional people, whether they be past lawmakers and school board and, the multitudes here. And I could simply say, just like everyone else, I have some ideas. I'm open to be as helpful as possible, and it's, that's
Could you
about
spell your last name for me?
Sure. F as in Frank, I-O-R-E.
Thank you.
And any other questions anybody has, more than welcome to answer.
Thank you. Were you able to hear that, Eric?
Could you just repeat the last name?
Fiore, F-I-O-R-E.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so anyone else? All right, any further board comments? So what I'd like to do is make sure we do the same thing. We have this list, we have 18 and 19 added, thank you so much. And again, before we do vote, I want to say that we, as a board, even though we disagree, we all care about the same thing, just like you do. So obviously, people are going to be left off. Please, if you aren't on this list, please show up anyway and still spend time on this because it's that important. Okay, so if you'd like to take your piece of paper. Eric, how are we going to do you? Are you going to text that, or what are you going to do?
I'll text it into, I have Steve's number up here, so I can just text it to Steve.
Okay, how about...
It'll be right here. PJ
I have
can
a
look at it.
question. How are we handling the consultants?
We're skipping consultants right now. We'll talk about that in a quick second after we're done with this.
Well, if we turn this in, we don't have a way to vote for them.
Okay, good point. So let's real quickly, on the bottom of our list, we have consultants, which I've never seen before. So it has several names about consultants.
I can tell you who they are if you'd like.
No, I know who they are. I think.
I have a question. I mean, you've got a CDD member on here, and I thought they were going to have a representative anyway, so why would they be listed as a consultant?
It's only 18, 19, and 20, which are the consultants. The 21's the CDD rep, and 22 is the school rep, so I guess 18, 19, and 20 are the consultants.
So,
it's just those three.
So my only question with the consultants is, do we want to call out specific people? Because it was my understanding that while meetings of CROA are technically supposed to only be open to CROA members, it's not exactly like we card at the door. And I think that we want, I mean, even if we need to make a motion following this, that those meetings will be open to anyone, I think that's fine. I just don't want to close out anyone that might be considered.
I don't want to close anyone out, Eric, but the consultants were discussed as 3 consultants in the original document that Steve's putting together with the attorney, and we pulled together people with PhDs and great deal of experience and
We voted on the
representative.
original thing, on the committee composition, and I don't see.
Eric, can you move your phone a second? So we can get everybody to, thanks. So we can get everybody on the same
Our
page.
liaisons?
Okay, do me a favor, wait, yeah, let's try to make sure we, okay. Jack has the floor right now. Go ahead, Jack.
Just like Diana's mentioned, I don't see consultants in the initial.
Liaisons is what they're supposed to be titled. Consultants, I don't know how that, I didn't type that, Vanessa did, but liaisons should be the proper title, not consultants. Number 18, 19, and 20 are liaisons.
Okay, so let me see if I could help get the temperature of the board here.
Not good right now.
Okay, so I would say that that the board feels that these names, we don't want to put a person's name for the CDD member. We don't want to put a person for K through 8 school. We already say that we're asking them to show up. We're asking them to be part of the thing, but we're not putting a name to them. We're not asking.
We asked for liaisons to be stepped up. I called professional people that gave a great deal of time to discuss things, and I feel out of courtesy, I don't know why they're being thrown in the trash. Sophia Graves represents the entire Celebration High School. John Bushy was our principal for the K through 12, and then the transition year in 2003 to 4 when it turned to the high school, and the first year of the high school. Mike Medici has his name on the building, which is the K through 8 currently, which I hope to keep the K through 8, but that's up to the task force. And Mike Medici also was the head of Stetson. He has a PhD in education. These were people that offered to represent this topic to the best of their abilities, and nowhere during all of my emails and discussion did anyone say, whoa, we're not doing liaisons. Everyone said we had 3 liaisons. So I understand that you all have gotten together and pre-decided this, not all of you, but most of you, but I am speaking out for our community, and I'm very vocal, as all of you know, sitting in the audience. These are people that have stepped up, offered to help. You could have put forth names, you did not, but I want them voted on tonight because we need to get going.
We don't have to vote on.
Hold on.
Basically, you have a task force, 7-member task force that you're voting on. Let them pick who they want.
Thank you.
That should be their responsibility, not us to pick out.
Maybe you guys could have mentioned that when we were talking.
Hold on. Let's first, before you came in, we discussed this. We discussed the makeup of the board. We discussed the committee positions.
I was at the hospital with my
I know.
husband.
Either way, I'm just saying that we said that we would not put a name. We'd ask the Celebration Community Developers to have somebody. We'd ask the Celebration Company. We did not put names to this, so we already decided that.
Do you want to see how many of you nominated, Bill, or do you want me to go through the? I've got my emails
Debbie,
right here.
It's you against every. We don't feel the same way you do. We don't feel the same way.
Can I try just for a point of clarification?
Well, hang on, guys. Let's calm down here for a second, because I think the point that I guess I'm missing is, let's say I'm one of those people, but bad example. Let's say we're trying to pull someone in here that we just need to have as a concerned person that wants to represent their voice of concern. Do they have to have a title? I mean, I know that we were talking about liaisons, but I guess I was confused, because I thought that I thought they would just be people that would be at the meeting, that they're giving.
Right.
No more than 3 board liaisons. Are they going to fall from the sky, or did you guys just want everybody to show up and just pick it from the hat? I don't
just
understand.
for a point of clarification
Committee
on
composition
that.
is what we're discussing.
Right.
Board liaisons would be our board.
Correct. It would be 3 of you of this existing board. You can't have 4 people coming to the meetings because it would be a
I understand, but we
quorum.
discussed that no one from our board would be on the task force, because otherwise it's just a small board.
No, but we could have. These are the rules of the charter that says we could have up to 3. We have none on it right now, but we could have up to 3 CROA members. Is all it's saying. So it's not like we have to choose that.
And I think you can accomplish what you guys are all talking about. These folks that are listed as 18 through 22 will probably all have wonderful input for these task force meetings. They can come and they'll be there at the meetings.
Right, but we don't want to individually go out and pluck each one.
What you're trying to vote for right now is just who are going to be the 7 that will vote, that will have a vote. Because even if you're a board member and you're coming, you don't have a vote. If you're a TCC, you
Okay,
won't have
so
a vote.
we're calling the question
Why are these
right
on
now. We're calling the question right now, so we're going to vote because we
It's
want
all
to.
been pre-decided, let's vote.
No, it's not pre-decided. We're all voting on this. Okay, so let's figure out how we're voting. If you're going to
Everybody
put in
realize what
your.
a sham CROA is.
Oh, my gosh.
So if you take, you're going to mark your check mark, and please pass it down, face down. We're going to pass it to Steve down there.
Can we do, if it's okay with the board, do you mind if PJ collects
She can sit
them
with
and
you.
then she can sit
That's
with
fine,
me and
perfect.
Take a look at them?
Thank you, PJ. See, we didn't need your help.
Still okay with that, PJ?
Let's hope this task force does a lot better and a lot faster and is less dysfunctional than us.
This is a master.
Did you turn yourself in?
And then once Eric takes.
Can you send it down, face down the PJ? And Eric will be texting his information.
One per person, or do we go?
We have 7 votes. You have 7 votes.
The top 7.
I don't think they're not ranking. So just seven check marks. So just make sure that they understand which 7 you want so they can count each one. If there's a question, it might be an issue. You don't want to lose a vote for not having a hanging chat or something like that.
While this is happening, may I ask a question?
Do you have to? Is it going to add to this, or is it going to create some sort of?
Actually, I don't know. The actual question is,
Yes.
I assume you're looking for at least 4 votes for each person.
I voted 7.
I know, but each voting for 7, but it could be split, where you only have 3 votes for the highest person.
Sure.
Is that what you're going to take?
I think we'll take the
Or are
first,
you gonna take the top level and
the
then
top 7 votes, because we said there's 7 members of the task force.
Okay, I just,
Just like a CROA board.
Correct,
election, the top
correct,
vote.
right. Yes, I did not, I should have put out the rules, but I didn't expect this. Sorry. Eric, are you okay with what's going on?
Top vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not pre-decided.
No, we haven't tallied the vote.
So you don't want to hear who we selected?
And the next steps also. Probably a meeting.
What are your next steps?
Well, when this is done,
I'm sure
do you need some time so we can talk?
No, I'm just waiting for ballots. I only had 3.
Excuse me one moment, please.
Did,
the rest of the ballots.
Did someone's get lost on
Did you get your ballot?
I did.
Debbie?
Turned it in.
Did you turn in your ballot?
Where'd they go?
Did they get past?
There's right there. What are those?
1, 2, 3.
There you go.
How many do we have now?
There should be 6
4,
there.
5,
and then
6, and Eric.
Once Eric texts, then we'll have theirs.
Thank you. We have found all the ballots for those of you at home. Eric should have been here today. I'm blaming Eric on this.
Right here.
Eric, we're counting the votes.
And Eric submitted 4 names. He can submit 3 more if he.
I'll ask him. Eric, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. You're going to get a few messages from me.
Okay, thanks. That's what we're asking.
And Steve, I know the number that I sent there.
Okay.
Okay. How many text messages should he be getting from you?
3.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to check this here.
So again, we thank you all for coming. We appreciate your interest. Hopefully, at the task force and every other meeting, we'll have this many people, if not more. That'll be very good.
Please come.
Yes. Please participate. We always say when somebody runs for the board and doesn't make it, then please participate, because it's important. There are several seats available for CROA board next election. It is. I think we have
February with the...
3 seats available? How many?
January, they'll call for candidates.
Yeah.
My term's over, Eric's term's over.
Mine.
Yeah, I'm gone too.
4. Yeah.
It is 4.
Is it 4?
Eric can
Diane,
run again.
Dave, and Reed.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys are turned out?
Yep, they're done.
9 years.
Sad.
3.
Oh, I thought you gave that one.
40 and 40.
I think you had, you wrote it right on top of the other one.
Sure. And about the what?
40 of the task force, because I think that's one of the
Because that's 4, 2, 3.
The reality is you're going to need a lot of consultants to provide this. Farming traffic engineers. So does the task force have the authority to bring those consultants in? And how is that funded? Is all that going to be volunteer? How does that work?
It's an excellent question. I don't have the answer. I think that the task force has an option to do whatever they want, and they just can't spend money without CROA's authorization, but they can ask CROA for their authorization.
But we've already approved legal counsel.
We did. Yeah, those of you that don't know, by the way, didn't make it to the last meeting, we did approve legal counsel based on some of the recommendations that Tom talked about and some other residents last meeting. We've approved legal counsel, but you're right, there's probably a lot more we haven't thought about. There's traffic study, there's a million different things.
You probably should start thinking about the budget, because the only way to do this right is to do it with cash, because it's the holidays, and you're going to see people do it really fast.
That's one thing that the task force can determine what all they
Yeah.
need, so that we can put it on.
We purposely didn't want to go out and do that as a board, but we started the legals. And we hope the task force will ask us for many things that they think needed. Yeah. We don't want to tie their hands behind the back, that's for sure. Maybe it will come from discussion, and maybe we won't have to do anything. But
You talk about traffic study, and I think the school board offered to do it, then TCC said, no, we'll do it ourselves. But I think we need to have an initial part of the traffic study, because it's not just merely putting the hoses across the road and counting cars, it's actually throughput. Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's the issue, is that when they do a traffic study, they may find their numbers are okay for the county, but we might not find it.
Standstill, they're not tripping.
Even if we can just have an independent review of the models being used.
Part of the challenge with the studies is they do not include fire, safety, they do not include police, and in order to get them involved, it will cost extra money. So that's something that the task force will need to determine what they want to do for that too.
You, homeowners. Oh, no, you're talking about traffic control devices, the county pays for that. Yeah.
Well, it's
With our team.
Well,
you're not going to get road wideners around the school. Exactly. You're not going to get traffic signals around the school.
Let's hope we don't get to that point. Let's, yeah.
2, 3.
Yeah, let's hope we don't. Let's hope we appeal to the senses of those that have the purse strings and, you know.
And do we have a media relations person involved?
We have the CJC, which is we have a communications liaison, and we have what's your complete title?
Communications one.
So we do have somebody. So we can, that task force, if they want to start using that resource, they can. So we do. That's JR. So.
You know, Tom had, in his, when Tom was up here talking, he had expressed a concern about not wanting to go down this path if the other entities were not open to it. And I can tell you that right now TCC is open to discussing other options, and they're going to be open-minded about it. They have assured us that they will not shut us off. More importantly, we do want them to be engaged in the meeting so that as we're going through the options, they can actually say, yeah, I'm willing to do that, or I'm not willing to do that too, with funding or however.
Okay, so in the interest of time, we're going to let them count.
Are they still counting?
Yes.
Oh, Mike was waiting for
Go ahead.
Eric.
I just want to make a comment.
I recognize the traffic study, the probability there. Very seldom is the development any place in the country that is a traffic study. It's always mitigating factors I've seen 100 times. The TCC might exert some influence, but let's keep in mind, they just want to sell a piece of dirt.
Absolutely.
They just want to transact. The place to pressure or the collaboration must be packaged and really with the administration and staff and the area of Clyde Wells, who has cooked up this particular solution, and work with them to find a range of other solutions that maybe the administration can buy into. Because the probability of getting the epiphany, well, all of a sudden they decide this is bad and we're just not going to do it, pretty low. Once we get to the administration, we bring them on board, and they buy into a solution that we help develop with them further. They get range of alternatives to work in right now, Clyde Wells, Tom Phelps, everybody, we're trying to solve the over-crowding problem. Let's remember where the pain is. That's where the pain is. So you can chase TCC and everybody else in the traffic study. But the core of probability for success is going to be the school district, and particularly with the administration.
It's probably good I'm not on the task force because I think once you do a traffic study, I think you've probably lost. You know what I mean? You're practically fighting a losing battle in some ways because whatever it is, they're going to do their traffic study. Ours is going to say something different, and they're going to find a way to put it in. They're going to say their traffic study says X, and their level of service for the county. But I do disagree with you that I think TCC is more key in my opinion because the county is not going to do anything without the money that TCC is giving them. So if we go through somehow get TCC to come up with an alternative plan, I don't think that's my opinion. You know what I mean? I really do think the bigger key for me is getting TCC to pull their funding for anything, and the county will not do it here. They have no money to do it. That's just my thinking is that appeal to they are selling dirt, like you said, but I also think that they care a little bit about the legacy celebration, and they're concerned that if residents get up in arms, that's going to hurt sales also in some ways too. So I think,
5, 6, 7. Agreed?
What's that? The task force, I think at the end of the day is let's sit down with TCC because let's see if they're willing to do anything. Let's see if the county's willing to do anything. And at the end of the day, we have to do whatever we have to do to get what we need. I think all options are on the table. So, would you want to read it? Go ahead. Why don't you stand? Can you mind standing up, introducing yourself? Okay, we're going to call the meeting back to order, and we have PJ Cartwright here, who has helped us in many elections.
Yes.
Right?
My name is PJ Cartwright. I live at 1000 via Capri Lane.
Before you announce, can I just say whoever the winners are, you are all the names on here, encourage all of you to help in any way you can.
Good.
Thank you all for stepping up.
I volunteer to count because I will never run.
Smart.
Been there, done that. Steve Waring has helped count, and the 7 task force as members that got the highest number of votes are Jeff McNeil, Tom Sonnenberg, Dan Haskett, Rebecca Newman, PhD, Pat Schroeder, Brian Coakley, and Tom Tucson.
Okay, congratulations. Maybe congratulations is in order. I'm not really sure if it is. Okay, thank you so much.
May I just take them back from you after your...
Yeah, no problem. And if you want to talk to Steve and go through the names and numbers and all that stuff afterwards, it's here for everybody to look at. So again, we appreciate it, and thanks for your time. So the last thing we're going to talk about is if I can have a discussion on when we want this task force to meet first, and then let them take care of everything from there, I guess. Let their own agenda. So,
How many of the task force members are here?
Excellent question. How many of the task force members are here? Can you raise your hand? Can I? All right. It is a quorum. That's wow.
Gotta like that.
First, are you okay with being on the task force? Are you okay with being on the task force? Yes. Okay. So, best time for you guys to get together? In fact, how about you guys just get together after this and decide and we don't... Thank you very much. Is it okay if you guys get together after this and you set up your first meetings? Okay, and then use Steve as a resource to send the emails out? Okay? All right. PJ, go ahead.
We need 48 hours notice, is that correct?
Yeah, and for Monday, we'd have to do it at 8 o'clock on Monday for it to work. Now,
8
because-
p.m.?
8 o'clock Monday morning.
8 p.m.? Right. Oh.
Well, but
So it would be Sunday at 8 p.m. would be the first day you could do
Yeah.
it. So if we're going to do a Monday meeting, we'd have to have it posted.
I'm not saying you have to, that's the earliest. 48 hours is the notice period you have to give. And then you may want to just get the other board, and then talk about your liaisons, and talk about if you want consultants, like how Debbie talked about, and that kind of stuff. But 48 hours, we'd like you to do this in the open, 48 hours notice. Longer notice is always better. We want to notice these meetings. We want to record them and have people here to be able to attend. So if you can, make sure you're noticed at least 48 hours. Steve will make sure that you don't do this without 48 hours notice.
I think what would be appropriate if we could get everybody's email tonight, and then JR and I will work on building a email group, and then we can just have a group that we can email back and forth with.
All right. Thank you. Eric, anything? I'm going to ask for adjournment. I just want to make sure that you don't have anything to add.
No, the only thing is like you said, these need to be, I know we always have to approve for things other than workshops or meetings, but since this is a task force meeting, I do want them recorded and streamed that is available for folks to be able to attend. And then, as Debbie mentioned, reiterate, everyone can attend, and I don't know, the only other motion that I was going to entertain was that we make these meetings open to non-CROA members.
Okay. I think, I'm not sure do we need a vote on that? Or let's put it this way, is there an objection of the CROA board here to allow non-members to come to those meetings?
Can I just want to stipulate this.
Sure.
With the media, we don't need mediator.
No, so let's put it this way.
It's live streaming. I can pay for the media at home.
Well, that's okay, but I don't.
We're not inviting, so we're not inviting media, but we're saying non-residents who are interested in coming. It could be a teacher who might not live in town. They may be very interested in
My
coming.
husband's media, can he come?
Well, he's also a resident too, so yes, he can. He's a homeowner, yeah. Anyway, we're not inviting media. So, okay, we understand that. I think that's a great thing, Eric, and for you guys to remember again, we want notice. The longer notice, the better. Diana, anything to add? Vanessa?
No.
Debbie?
No.
Judd? Cool. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Another